you see what's going on behind me now. We are seeing stronger gusts. We are seeing a constant pounding of rain. As we look to the docks behind us, the boats, they are doing pretty well right now. And again, we are expecting the winds to get stronger as we move throughout the day.
You just heard crack, crack, and then
whoosh, whoosh, and then it did this. So we're going to turn to show you what it did right here. Look, completely upending this sidewalk right here. Tree is completely down. Alderman Nick Palumbo is now with me here as well. And Nick, let's walk around this right here. Let's walk and let's show them what this side of the tree looks like, because it didn't just, you know, take the tree down, take the power line down. It did all of this right here. We're going to walk right here to see this, because all of these roots are just completely upended right here. They said it took a transformer out, and you can see all on this street, throughout this street here in Ardsley Park, the power is out.
WJCL 22 News, a Chatham County woman's desperate plea for help. Her family's home was destroyed by Idalia. WJCL 22 News' Olivia Weil joining us live now from that home, and the homeowner reached out after running out of options.
Greg, that's right. Take a look at this tree limb. This is what fell on the home behind me, Donna Fortner's home. You can see that tarp up there is where this limb broke through, destroying her living room, making the home a total loss. Take a look.
Please declare Chatham County a natural disaster, and we really need help.
River Street, underwater. The Port of Savannah's containers stacked. Tybee Island protected from flooding. Hurricane season is almost here.
Storm surge can flood River Street in a matter of minutes. The time to prepare is now.
Hi, I'm Jeff Rawson. Coming up on Rawson Reports, severe weather everywhere, from flooding to tornadoes to hurricanes. We have the inexpensive gadgets you need for your car and for your home to save your and your family's life.
Coming up, find out how the Port of Savannah is preparing for the 2023 hurricane season.
And we'll be taking a look how storm surge impacts the beach of coastal Georgia and the Lowcountry.
WJCL 22 is showing you how to survive the storm.
Preparing for hurricane season is essential, especially for the Port of Savannah, which operates over 2,000 acres of critical seaport. The Garden City Terminal is massive. It's the single largest container terminal in the Western Hemisphere. With around-the-clock operations at the port, hurricane season planning is vital for the port's success. Kevin Doyle is the Senior Director of Protective Services with the Georgia Ports Authority. He says planning is a top priority.
Preparedness and readiness is critical for us and something we take very seriously.
Why'd you do it, Alex? Do you have anything to say? Alex!
Armed officers walked accused killer and once prominent South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh into the courthouse this morning. Jury selection started in the highly anticipated trial. Murdaugh is accused of killing his wife and son. Prosecution played a video for the jury today for the first time in the murder trial of Alex Murdaugh. They say the video places him at the scene possibly minutes before Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were shot and killed. We want to get right to our Brooke Butler live at the Colleton County Courthouse. Brooke, you have a copy of this video. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Marvis. Well, prosecutors say Paul was watching his friend's dog that night, and he actually recorded a video for his friend after noticing that something might be wrong with that dog's tail. Now, in that video, you actually hear 3 voices. Take a good listen. You're going to hear Paul's voice, then you're going to hear a man and a woman in the background, and prosecutors believe those voices are that of Maggie and Alex Murdaugh.
Hey, Bubba. That's a guinea. This is a chicken. Come here, Bubba. Come here, Cash. Come here, Bubba. Cash. Quit.
Alex previously told investigators he hadn't seen Maggie and Paul since having dinner with them earlier that night. But
The jury has spoken. Richard Alexander Alex Murdaugh, guilty of murdering his wife Maggie, guilty of murdering his wife's son, also found guilty on 2 weapons charges, weapons being used in a violent crime. The judge basically agreed with the jury, saying the evidence of guilt is overwhelming. Let's go back now to our Brooke Butler, who is standing outside the Colleton County Courthouse. Brooke, let's be honest, They deliberated for 3 hours, and they found the man guilty on both counts of murdering his loved ones.
Yeah, and now Murdaugh faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. The judge saying that sentencing will happen tomorrow. They're going to meet back here at the Fulton County Courthouse at 9:30 in the morning. But this verdict comes on day 28 of this murder trial. And as a reminder, this murder trial was actually supposed to take just 3 weeks. We're now on day 4 of week 6. So it's definitely a lengthier trial than expected. Of course, a lot of that is because we went into Murdaugh's alleged financial crimes. The state really accused Murdaugh of murdering Maggie and Paul in order to cover up those alleged financial crimes.
Right now, we want to take a live look outside of the Fulton County Jail, where former President Donald Trump is going to turn himself in today in an election indictment.
WJCL 22 News' Olivia Weil is standing by outside the jail live. And Olivia, what can you tell us this morning?
Frank, Emma, good morning. It is still a pretty active scene outside the Fulton County Jail this morning. If you take a look behind me, you can see cars lined up seemingly to get into work, of course, this morning, but there is that police presence still outside of the jail. They've also been testing their sirens all morning and their speakers, giving folks directions that they can't be in this area.
Breaking news tonight. You're looking at a mugshot of the former President of the United States of America. The photo taken tonight at the Fulton County Jail. Good evening, everyone. I'm Greg Coy.
And I'm Shannon Royster. It is the first mugshot of a former president ever taken. You can see it now over my shoulder. Former President Trump and 18 co-defendants are criminally charged for their alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. A number of them surrendering. Today, Trump, his former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and Harrison Floyd, a leader of the organization Black Voices for Trump, were all booked into the Fulton County Jail.
Right now, our Greg Coy and Andy Cole are sitting by live with team coverage from her hometown of Plains. And Greg, many people, not just in Georgia, but across the world, are mourning this loss tonight.
She was a spirit and a figure and a public figure that will be hard to ever duplicate and replicate. You know, Andy, I was talking to Andy just a few minutes ago, Brooke, that I'm of the age to have remembered when he ran for president and remembered Rosalynn Carter because she left such an indelible mark on our nation and the world. Tireless advocate for mental health.
And we want to go now to WJCL 22 News' Greg Coy, live from Plains. Greg, you've been there all day long. Tell us, what do you have for us?
Well, you know what, Shannon, the legacy of Rosalynn Carter will certainly live on. From Main Street behind me to the Carter family farm and home to the left of me, and then to the right of me, across the road over there, is the old high school that both she and the former 39th president both attended as students and graduated. It's now a national park as well as a visitor center named after him. But as we found out when we walked inside, Rosalynn Carter's presence and memory share an equal stage. Flags fly at half-staff outside the Old Plains High School, now the Jimmy Carter Historical Park and Visitor Center. Inside the building are heavy hearts.
I've been a friend of Mrs. Carter's for 29 plus years. So even you think you're prepared. She's been sick for a while, but you're never prepared to hear the news that your hero passed away.
Your hero?
When she walked into a room, she brought hope.
Lydia Blackstone, she's live in downtown Plains. And Lydia, what are you seeing out there right now?
Hey, Emma, so we're here in downtown Plains right now. We're awaiting the processional that will come right through here so the community, which really is a second family to the Carters here, can say their goodbyes as well. I'm going to move out of the way so you can see what I see right now. You can see police are lining the streets right now as people gather to pay their final respects to Miss Rosalynn Carter. That should happen shortly as they make their way from the church down here. They'll come through here and go all the way back down to their family house, which is where Miss Carter will be buried, and one day where Mr. Carter President Carter will be buried as well. We'll keep you updated with all of that as they come through here. But as we talk to people out here, the consensus that we hear is that she was just a sweet Southern lady, a lady that was so respected, admired in this community and really all throughout the U.S. We spoke to a group of middle schoolers here. They got to play a unique role in some of the flowers on her casket, helping grow them, and they got to share their experiences, which we'll have more coming up in our later shows. But we'll just continue to talk to people out here and hear the same consensus that just they feel honored to be out here during a historic moment such as this and getting to see her legacy lived on by her family members at the funeral and now this community here in Plains. But I'll send it back over to you, Emma, as we await this.
Lydia, thank you so much. And we just got to see those flowers on her casket. Absolutely beautiful.
Every week, inmates across the state of Georgia are putting themselves at risk to capture videos like this. They're sending these clips to advocacy groups to showcase what's happening behind prison walls.
This guy is knocked out cold. It is a gang beating.
The videos you're seeing were shot in Glenville at Smith State Prison.
Smith State Prison is just, unfortunately, one of the worst ones that we're seeing right now.
Since the start of the year, the Georgia Department of Corrections says there have been at least 5 homicides at this prison alone.
While neither report draws a direct connection between the altercation in the car and Montgomery Smith's death, the Army has, in a more recent supplemental investigation, found that there was a, quote, climate of indiscipline, a culture of systemic fraternization, and inappropriate relationships while the unit was deployed. August 9th, 2022, Montgomery Smith was found dead in her barracks. The final report says Montgomery Smith was suicidal because she was dealing with financial troubles and marriage problems.
There were no marriage problems, just her being gone and feeling lonely. So the reason she was talking about suicidal stuff is because she was trying to figure out a way to get out of the military quicker without worrying about dealing with her leadership or anything.
The initial report also raised concerns about the position of Montgomery Smith's body when she was found dead in her barracks. It says that she was found fixated within a barracks standalone closet like this one, with her knees touching the bottom of the closet and her feet on the floor. This is abnormal, the investigating officer wrote, because she could have stood up at any time.
Tonight, catalytic converter thieves are being targeted by a proposed law in the Georgia State House. The bill toughens the penalties for people caught trying to either buy or sell the stolen auto part. I talked to one auto shop owner who says stronger laws are needed to stop a crime that rarely leads to an arrest. Barry Wardlaw owns Barry's Muffler and Brake Center in Savannah. He's been in business for 32 years.
I just love it. We're using my hands, fabricating.
Wardlaw tells me he sympathizes with customers coming to him up to 7 times a week to replace their stolen catalytic converters. The cost to replace the device can range anywhere from $700 to $1,000.
They got to have it. You know, I feel bad for people. I mean, can't stand a thief, and they having to come in here, and I mean, they got to pay for it. There's nothing else I can do.
Mike Eberhard takes us to the scene of a crime turned tragedy. The owner of Southbound Auto Sales found a man trying to steal a catalytic converter from underneath a car.
And here is the car.
The suspected thief, 32-year-old Matthew Eric Smith, crushed to death when the car fell on top of him.
He had the Selzo in his hand, and he's still holding it and laying on his forehead.
That theft was one of 36 stolen catalytic converter cases investigated by either Chatham County or Savannah police so far this year when we asked for the numbers in May.
I was upset, not because of he trying to steal from me. It's because a human life got lost. For what? For a catalytic converter?
We have not seen it used yet in an American political context, but we know that there are bad actors, both foreign and domestic, who would really like to sow chaos.
More than just chaos, warns the founder and CEO of Deep Media, an artificial intelligence company.
The 2024 election is going to be the deepfake election. We already saw some deepfakes come out in 2020, but they weren't good enough for people to be fooled.
Is this a threat to democracy?
Unregulated AI is fundamentally a threat to democracy and society at large. And, okay, so think about it like this, right? One of the things that our society and our democracy relies on is trust, right? Trust in media, trust in our politicians. And when you get to a place where any video you see online, whether it's real or fake, it could be fake.
Georgia and South Carolina are some of the fastest growing states in the country.
More specifically, the latest data from the U.S. Census Bureau indicates Southeast Georgia and the Lowcountry are booming. But while rapid growth can boost the economy, it can also bring growing pains.
This project is going to affect every aspect of the region. I mean, from port to airport to you name it.
You heard it, the Hyundai Meta plant in Bryan County is going to change our area as we know it. Since the project was announced back in 2022, leaders from across the state of Georgia have been hard at work preparing. But ahead of its completion, WJCL 22 News will bring you in-depth coverage at the population boom in our area and the impacts it's having on your community. It's our new segment called Boomtown. We turn now to WJCL 22 News' Brooke Butler. She's live from downtown Savannah. And Brooke, the new plant will bring thousands of jobs to the area.
Yeah, Shannon, and that means thousands of people will be moving here with their families. So local leaders are doing everything they can to ensure our area is prepared for the population boom.
Hyundai Motor Group will build their first dedicated electric vehicle manufacturing plant right here in this good soil in Bryan County.
That was Georgia Governor Brian Kemp announcing the new Hyundai Meta plant back in spring of 2022.
This is transformational for the region, not just for people's children now, but for their grandchildren.
That transformation is already underway, with more and more companies announcing new jobs in Georgia too.
So see, it's just not Hyundai. It's Gulfstream, it's Georgia Ports Authority, it's Georgia Power.
Georgia leaders are now hard at work doing what they can to prepare for what will likely be a massive boom in the area's population.
If you think we've got problems now, think about the population doubling.
Chatham County Commission Chairman Chester Ellis says they're working closely with the Georgia Department of Transportation to prepare the roads.
We have to make sure that the roads and things are going to be conducive for folks getting out of their homes in the morning and in the afternoon as they travel.
Hey, good evening, Shannon. A lot of people we have been talking to as we put together this Boomtown series are wondering who is going to get the thousands of jobs available at the Hyundai Meta plant. Well, the company assures us they're hiring local.
In a matter of months, the Hyundai Meta plant will produce 300,000 cars each and every year.
The plant here in Savannah is, from an investment standpoint, is nearly 4 times the size of that in Alabama.
But who will work there?
So a very, very small percentage of the employees here will actually be Korean or from Korea. Again, the vast majority of the employees will be from this area. Basically, we call it localization, and that is hiring locals because this is a Georgia plant and we want to staff that with Georgia employees.
Of the 8,500 expected to clock in at the Meta plant, Hyundai says 99% of them will be from Georgia.
Confetti fell here inside SoFi Stadium just moments after Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett wrote the perfect ending to his college football career, became a Georgia legend in the process. From former walk-on to Heisman finalist, the former Pierce County star led Georgia as the team became the first to win back-to-back national titles in the college football playoff era, a rout of TCU 65-7.
I don't care about the 3-peat, the 2-peat, or the 1-peat. I care about complacency. And if the focus is on that and outcomes, I think the rest will take care of itself in terms of allowing our guys to focus on being the best they can be.
Georgia head coach Kirby Smart setting the tone for the back-to-back national champions entering the 2023 college football season. Good evening and welcome into our Countdown to Kickoff College Football special live from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Amy Zimmer. Our Preston Harvey will join us in just a few minutes. The Georgia Bulldogs, one of the many teams we will spotlight over the next 30 minutes. In addition to the Georgia Bulldogs, you might know this behind me, is Bank of America Stadium. And in less than 24 hours, South Carolina and North Carolina fans will will be flooding into the stadium. This year's Duke's Mayo Kickoff Classic featuring the Gamecocks and Tar Heels colliding Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. here in the Queen City. You can watch it all go down right here on WJCL 22. Plus, I'll have a live recap after the game. Harbortown Golf Links on Hilton Head Island, home to South Carolina's only annual PGA Tour event. For the first time ever, the 55th annual RBC Heritage receiving an elevated status as a designated event, increasing the purse and bringing the top golfers in the world to the Lowcountry. It's time to get you ready for the biggest sporting event in the Palmetto State as we once again take you inside the ropes. Good evening and welcome to Inside the Ropes, live from Harbortown Golf Links alongside Preston Harvey. I'm Amy Zimmert. Less than 24 hours away from opening round, and once again, this tournament sold out.
Yeah, and as you can tell, today is just the second day the grounds were open to fans, and it was jam-packed, Amy. Just a beautiful day to watch these professional golfers prepare on the putting green as well as the driving range.
Yeah, and Preston, as you saw, there are so many traditions around this RBC Heritage. However, there is nothing like the opening ceremony, and you're about to see why. Let's just say defending champion Jordan Spieth started the week off with a bang. The sounds of the bagpipes leading Heritage Classic board members, volunteers, and defending champion Jordan Spieth to the 18th green for an opening ceremony tradition unlike any other. With an authentic hickory club, Spieth hitting the ceremonial tee shot along with the firing of the cannon.
Tonight, people in Savannah getting a chance to hear from two of the candidates running for mayor. This is all thanks to a forum held by the League of Women Voters of Coastal Georgia in partnership with WJCL 22. The incumbent Mayor Van Johnson, challenger Alderwoman Keisha Gibson Carter, each tried to convince voters why they should lead the city. The third candidate, Tyresha Davis, was a no-show. WJCL 22 News' Brooke Butler was at this forum. Joins us now live from outside the Coastal Georgia Center where this all took place. And both the candidates discussed their stance on a variety of topics.
Yeah, Greg, they gave their thoughts on everything from gun violence to the need for affordable housing to ethics on the city council. Each of the candidates, Greg, as you said, trying to convince residents why they should vote for them.
I'm happy to serve as mayor, and I'm asking for 4 more years.
I am a humble public servant.
Tuesday night, 2 of Savannah's mayoral candidates, Alderwoman Keisha Gibson Carter and current Mayor Van Johnson, participated in a forum moderated by WJCL 22 News' Shannon Royster and organized by the League of Women Voters. The two discussed their thoughts on a number of hot-button issues, including gun violence in the hostess city.
This administration has not put forth one policy that speaks to the one demographic who suffers most as a result of gun violence and crime in our community, and that is the African American male.
I'm the only candidate here. When there are gunshots in this community, I'm on these scenes. If they want to carry guns illegally, then the consequences have to be certain and they have to be severe.
Just beginning for Savannah Mayor Van Johnson, who has been elected to serve another 4 years for the people of the city. Take a look at this video from his watch party. You can see people dancing and enjoying themselves as this was not a tight race at all. The mayor most notably thanking his mother, Savannah State University, for his roots, and also saying he talked with 2 of Georgia's U.S. senators, Senator Raphael Warnock, as well as Senator John Ossoff.
All 3 candidates for Tybie's next mayor ran on one similar platform, change, but it seems voters overwhelmingly believed the person who could lead that change is former city councilor Brian West. West earned more than 60% of the vote over his challengers, Tybee local Matt Kitchens and nurse Julia Pierce. The environment at the American Legion was a roller coaster. Several candidates and dozens of supporters were watching WJCL 22 all night for the results. And the mayoral race wasn't the only one on Tybee. 4 new members of city council were also elected. Now West will succeed outgoing Tybee Mayor Shirley Sessions. She stopped by the Legion to support West and the other candidates.
Inside the squares at prime real estate to watch today's Savannah's St. Patrick's Day Parade. And here we go. It's time to get out of the way. Oh boy, here we go. I told you, controlled chaos. You're trying to get that prime real estate. So look how fast they put the tents up.
You know, we got folks of all ages out here
but we also got four-legged friends.
Four-legged
come
friend?
here. Oh, no. You know I'm a dog person, so naturally. I'm not sure whose dog this is. However, I was just handed this dog.
We talked about how they performed in the snow in New York. Boys, this is a little bit better than that snow, ain't it?
Yeah, no kidding. And right behind him, we have this year's Grand Marshal and his entire family.
All right, and check out this crowd behind me here at the red carpet. It keeps growing and growing. And tell me, guys, who are you here to see? Taylor Sakar Perez. He is a popular one.
The classes, meeting the students, having the seminar with them today, having a lot of students in the audience tonight for the award. That to me is what's really cool about it.
A barbershop, bar, boutique, hardware store, and a cafe.
It's amazing, you guys. I mean, I get hungry every time I walk in here, I'm not gonna lie. Like, every single detail is taken care of, from working coffee makers to the little chocolates.
An endless possibility of scenes are a reality at SCAD's brand new film studio.
This is a Savannah street, but it could also be a London street or a Paris street or Everytown, USA. It can be redressed for so many things.
Not only that, but the time period in which you're shooting can be easily adjusted as well. We're introducing you to our WJCL 22 September Mom of the Month. Fifth grader Alana Green nominated her mom, Shamara. And as Lydia Blackstone reports, it's like mother, like daughter.
My mom is Mom of the Month. Yeah! The mother-daughter bond is a special one, but when you look alike,
I get my hair from her.
And you dress alike,
but we both like the same things.
It only makes it stronger.
A Paris Island Marine taking action in the face of a storm. WJCL 22 News' Lydia Blackstone has the story of a man who recently saved the life of a woman whose boat capsized on Defusky Island.
Why not do something that, like, 8-year-old you would be like, I can't believe he does that.
It started with a childhood dream that led Corporal Aiden Myler McAuliffe to join the military.
Why'd you pick the Marines specifically?
It's the hardest one, plain and simple.
The challenge prompting him to become an instructor of water survival on Paris Island, a skill he had to use in July when he was on the ferry from Defusky Island after a shift working his side job at the Freeport Marina. That's when a storm broke out.
The waves get a little more rough, a lot of wind starts blowing, and then next thing you know, you can't see.
Corporal Myler McAuliffe got to the front of the boat to check to see if any objects were in the way of the ferry. That's when he saw something.
Yeah, and then I looked, and it was a life jacket. The catamaran had capsized.
A family's boat capsized, 2 grandparents and their 2 grandchildren in the water. The children and the grandfather picked up by another boat, leaving the woman still in the water, drowning quickly.
I kept trying to throw the buoy at her to no avail at all.
No one wanted to jump into the storm except for Corporal Myler McAuliffe.
Jumped off the back of the boat, swam after her.
Second nature.
I didn't have to think at all throughout this entire thing.
Corporal Myler McAuliffe able to get the hypothermic and concussed woman on the boat and safely to EMS.
Sound Liberty Call!
A band of brothers, something the Ware brothers already have.
I'm very proud to have my brothers here by my side finishing boot camp.
Griffin, Matt, and Connor are triplets. Their mother, Michelle, says it took her by surprise when they all wanted to enlist.
It was a total shock, and I still don't understand why, how it happened. I don't know. I don't know if there's some part of them as that brotherhood that they share, that they still wanted to be together.
The Ware brothers grew up in Massachusetts. Being triplets, they've shared a lot through the years.
We've definitely shared some small things, but this is definitely one of the bigger things we've all shared.
But for parents of any Marine, sending them off is never easy.
Being able to hear their voices or to see them and to be in the house, see their rooms are empty. Yeah, it's been a long road.
No. Oh, wow.
Wow. 1,200, yes. We told you earlier we were going to smash this number from last year.
Let's just erase that.
451. 1,200, all thanks to you. Thank you so very much for helping families in need. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Fourth time doing this, and it's ready to get started with the phones ringing, right?
Absolutely. We want those phones ringing. And Greg, we just want to thank WJCL 22, you again for coming out, for the support that you guys give us every year. And
I said, you know, you can take us over. He goes, oh, that's what I plan to do. And I said, oh, what are you planning? He goes, I got $5,000. I said, well, we'll take it.
After that, the donations of a couple $100 here and there pushed the nonprofit over the top. The telethon raising $102,441.